Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. This time, I would like to continue my condolences to Charlie Kirk and his family. Um, we had received word from multiple news sources and the President of the United States this afternoon stating that an alleged gunman was arrested with connection to his shooting. I do not necessarily know if this is the person or not. It'll be up to the court and the FBI to decide. The individual does not need to be named, in my opinion. However, it was a 22-year-old Utah male with no apparent criminal record and a very considerate individual, from what neighbors had stated. This has shocked the entire world and the country, and it most definitely has shocked those of us that hold foundation to the Constitution of the United States very dear. The fundamentals of this country, I wholeheartedly believe that they are the foundation, and this person, if they are who the FBI says they are, needs to be upheld to the fullest extent of the law for silencing an individual that was only expressing his First Amendment right. I'm stuttering now because it's hard to find the words to directly discuss after knowing the circumstance of the situation as it unfolds. I just hope that the individual is the suspect and that the suspect is the one that we are holding accountable for his actions. Our justice system is not perfect. However, it again will be up to the court to decide whether or not this individual had created these problems, and I do hope that we do get justice for Charlie. Tyler, not even going to mention his last name. You and anybody like you that silences people, there's no place in this country for people like that. People keep stating that he was a good kid. That's
You. Mhm. Well, he. Well, that's the thing about that. We have the proof of his confession. So, oh, he confessed. So we have his confession. He spoke with his father. He was on a dis. He there's Discord has yet to release anything because they haven't seen the messages yet. But um, he was Discord messaging his friend all this crap. So he has a written confession there. He confessed in custody as well, from what we're hearing as well. And we have his DNA on the gun as well. Hmm. So it's hook, line, and sinker with that one because he didn't. Uh, honestly, if he gets a death penalty, which I guarantee he will, if he gets the death penalty, um, it shouldn't be lethal injection. It should be a firing squad or a hanging. And you well, you, Utah has not firing, has the death penalty, and this is also now a federal case, which the federal government can use a firing squad as a tactic for a execution. And if they do it, I hope that's what they use, and I hope there's a way to view it. Hmm. If like what the government should do. I'm not saying put it on every news network out there because I know technically they can't show that, even though we saw Charlie Kirk shot live on some of the news networks out there, but that's still not something they're technically able to show without blurring it. Um, I do hope, though, there is a way that we can view this if he gets the death penalty. Because, one, that would prove and show that there is still justice in this country, and we're not just taking, word of mouth that he was executed. People want to see the proof that he was executed. Yep. Hmm. Yep. You know, I said this on the last pod on the last show. Charlie's brand is called the Turning Point, and this truly has been a turning point. There is a lot of people that were far left Democrat that actually saw what happened, and they don't agree with everything Charlie said, but they said that they will no longer ever be a part of a party that is okay with shooting, with somebody dying just for expressing the First Amendment right. So, which is actually, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Because unfortunately, we have a sickness in this country, which people are being indoctrinated. Which mind you, what we should be doing is we should be looking at our education system right now, because before because this guy, the shooter, he grew up in a conservative household. He grew up around guns. He grew up, in a conservative family. That has been proven. But over the years, when he started going to college, he started turning. His mind started getting turned towards the left side of thinking, and he actually, there's video of him debating Charlie, yelling at him, calling him a fascist, and walking away. So, and which is weird. So it's like we really should be looking at our education system, at what is causing these kids to be indoctrinated to think this way, to think it is okay to go shoot someone because you don't agree with them. That is never something you should do. We have the First Amendment right for a reason. You have the right to speak your mind. You shouldn't kill someone for their beliefs. Yeah. Mhm. And mhm, yep, yeah, you know, but and in light of actually watching a lot of Charlie's old videos and going back and rewatching things and listening to them, I am not a Christian. I am not a Catholic. I'm not a very religious man. My Most of my family is Norse pagan. They don't do this, like, but no, but oh yeah, but oh 100%. But I'm not gonna lie, listening to Charlie, I do have a little bit of a better understanding of, the whole of God, a little more respect for that. And a lot of people do, because mainly because of him. There are so many people that debated Charlie that don't agree with him, and you have that right. But even they don't condone the what happened to him, and these people are pissed at the people that are chanting about his death, saying they're happy about it. You know, I actually dealt with that today at work. About one of my coworkers actually happy about Charlie's death, and I'm like, you should not be happy about that. But they're stuck in their ways, saying he was a racist, and he was not. He never incited violence. He never said anything racist. All he, yeah. So, mm, which is fine. Yeah, Mhm. No, he was very much against people using political violence. Political violence is never the answer. And people are very pissed off. But the best thing you can do, continue Charlie's message. And there are millions of people that are stepping up to the plate and they're going to start doing what Charlie did to continue his voice, continue his message, which I am all for. Hmm. Exactly. No. And if the guy's point was to silence people, he did the opposite. There are now going to be more people speaking out now. The silent majority is no longer silent. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm the guy that I mentioned earlier that was happy about Charlie's death. He no longer has a job with the company I work for. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna name it, but you know what that company is. You know. And it turns out they have fired a lot of people for thinking that way. Because he said all this right in front of the boss when he walked in. And mind you, this was one of the big wigs of the company that walked in for an audit and heard him saying that. He fired him on the spot. He said, get the hell out of here. You're done. You're fired." So his roommate. Yeah, which I hope they interrogate him and he gives up that information because you know the FBI is going to interrogate him because he is in custody of the FBI and they do interrogations and they have their tactics and I hope they get the information. Hmm. 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 Which it well, speaking of that, what was that guy's name? Dowler or whatever, the MSBCN guy. Yeah, Dow, that was it. He's fired. They fired him. Apparently not. He is not allowed to do anything with it. Which, if that is truly the case, then at least they are not as stupid as people as you you know that you would think. they still have their unfortunate the way they talk. So mm-mm. I mean, CNN lost a lot of their credibility. So, and MSBCN has pretty much lost a lot of their credibility, especially after this. Yeah, NBC, yeah, they lost a lot of their credibility. The only few news broadcasts that have been getting a lot of attention for actually spreading the news is Newsmax and Fox. They obviously they're neither one is perfect, but at least they're you know reporting the news properly. Hmm. Yeah, which is fine, which is how it should be. Honestly, you know, it we really shouldn't even have had a situation like this happen, but because in light of the situation, I said more and more people are now talking out, and they're no longer silent. You know that I mean, it's un- it's unfortunate that it took losing someone like Charlie. Mm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, uh, speaking of which, I went and picked up more ammo for my sidearm that I carry on a daily, and I was talking to the gentleman at the counter and about the situation because he had the news on, and I asked him how he felt about it, and he said he's pissed. And I'm like, "Do you feel that we're gonna have more people buying guns and ammo?" He's like, "I already have." He's like, "Your box of 45 is the last box I had. I just sold 455 boxes in one day." Well, well, there's a lot. So they do, and then if and I don't like bringing up left and right of politics and that stuff, but if people on the left truly are just going to start popping people because they don't because you're conservative, and that's not right. If they're going to keep doing that, so a lot of news is already saying it's going to spark the civil war in a second civil war in this country. And it's the unfortunate truth to that is we are closer to that than we have been in years. No, but just just defend yourself if you have to. Yep. Speaking speaking of that, speaking of that, domestic and foreign, uh, Hegseth, he's actually peop service members that are celebrating Charlie's death are going to be discharged from the military for advocating for people to kill conservatives, because we have service members actively serving right now that are siding with these crazy people that want to kill conservatives. You should not be serving. Yes, you should not serve the military if you are condoning that. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So they are going to be dishonorably discharged from the military. They are not, and they are not getting an honorable discharge. They are getting dishonorably discharged from the military for this, and I am 100% in agreement with that. Hmm. That's weird. I can hear you. Hold on, let me see if I can hear you. I'll do a test. To find your YouTube. Give me a second. Where are you doing this at? All right. All right. Say something.
Hello.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't hear you. This is weird. Is your mic muted? Wait. Wait. I think I heard you. Hold on. Let me mute you here. Give me a second. No, still don't hear you, which is weird. You were heard in the beginning. Hmm. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Bear with us, people. We'll be back as soon as we figure this out. Um, Ow. God damn it. Getting too old.
Can anybody hear me?
Find out through the delay. Okay, heard you.
So you did hear me.
I just heard you, yeah.
Okay, now that we have 40 minutes of delayed footage of me apparently talking to Asmodeus and nobody hearing my reaction to Asmodeus' comments. Okay. You can turn me down.
Yeah, I'll do that now. 40 minutes of... Whoops, hold on. There we go. Alright, now we're back.
Thank you, Matt, for your input on the situation, because that would just wasted 40 minutes of the stream. I appreciate that. I really do. We were speaking over the situation involving Mr. Kirk and the individual that assassinated him, and that he would not advocate for violence. However, it has sparked an uproar on the entire country. And I was speaking with Asmodeus in regard to how that is going to respond via military and other jobs, which we've already seen the implications online for most people.
Well, there's actually a whole place now on X where you can report people for advocating about Charlie's death, celebrating it pretty much. You can report them there to put them on blast, to actually get them fired.
We were actually stating a moment ago that I do not advocate for violence. However, assassinating an individual for their First Amendment right, accessing their First Amendment right, exercising their First Amendment right, should not be tolerated in this country. We are not a Marxist country. We are not a dictatorship. This is a country founded on the freedom and the freedom of the people. And basically, in summary, I was speaking to my sincerest regard to him and his family, and my sincerest condolences to him and his family, and that an animal that assassinates somebody duly based on how they feel about what they say should not be tolerated in this country. And we were speaking on behalf of the right of the state of Utah to ultimately, if due diligence is regarded and he is found guilty, uphold the death penalty for treason. Killing somebody in cold blood in the United States of America due to their vocal view, not harming anybody, should not lead to a death sentence. And I was speaking on the fact that we do not condone violence here. Me and my team do not condone violence. However, with that same regard, you also have the right to defend yourself should that situation occur to where your life is threatened or your family's lives are threatened. We live in a country of free people, and those people are free to come and go and speak however they wish. We have people on both sides of the aisle that voice their opinions every single day. We have people that are of certain groups that speak their mind every single day. We won't specify what groups are out there, but you can most definitely assure that there are some radical left and radical right groups that are willing to harm others, that get the right to speak their mind every single day. So an individual that was doing nothing to anyone should not have been murdered in cold blood. And again, my condolences go to him and his family.
We go ahead.
Asmodeus?
Yeah. Look. Sorry. I was responding to a message.
How you doing, Fuzzy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My boss was funny about that. My boss was just talking to me about the incident earlier, about the individual that got fired for saying that he was happy that Charlie was dead, and asking me to write a statement about him saying that to me when he walked in the door.
But
So,
nonetheless, that's pretty much where we left off. We were also speaking on behalf of people involved in the United States Armed Forces having bias towards one side or the other. There is absolutely no room in our armed forces to allow bigotry or incompetence at all. The United States military is to uphold and defend the Constitution. It doesn't matter what somebody says. It doesn't matter how they view. The United States military is to preserve the Constitution of the United States. Whether you're left, whether you're right, whether you're right or whether you're wrong.
Yeah, it should be. That's what we are. That's what the United States is. The military is there for that.
So for there to be a bias in the military or individuals in the military, that should not be allowed. And Asmodeus was just telling me that there was an individual he heard of that gotten involved with laughing at Charlie Kirk, and that's where we left off. I'll let him continue.
Yeah. So there's military people that are laughing at Charlie Kirk's death, being glad it happened, and Hagseth is pissed, rightfully so. He's like, these people are not just going to be discharged from the military, they are going to be dishonorably discharged from the military for what they are doing. And I am 100% in support of that. Because if you are fighting for this country, you should not be advocating for the death of the people you are sworn to protect. That is not okay.
And I agree. It comes down to they're sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, right, foreign and domestic. It isn't necessarily the people. Right. However, the people are what makes the Constitution.
Exactly.
So, in a way,
and that's something that I would bring up a little bit is there's actually a service member. I forget what branch he's in. I'll have to look for it.
All
But
right, man.
he actually said that we should not be using the military domestically off to in the country, and it's like you, the oath is foreign and domestic. You that is what you are sworn to do. You are to fight terrorism, foreign and domestic, not just foreign. And there's military members that are saying, it's not our job to be here domestically. It's like it is.
Are you talking about Chicago?
Not just Chicago. I've thought about everywhere in general. But speaking of Chicago and DC, we're like Trump using the National Guard, and we we have the president has the right to do that if it is deemed necessary. And you have the Democrats, yelling, "Oh, we shouldn't do that. It's wrong. It's wrong. We can't. We don't send the National Guard on your people." It's like I'm like, okay, y'all should really know history because all of the times the National Guard has been sent domestically has been by a Democratic president. One of the biggest times the National Guard was sent domestically was during the Pullman strike in the early 1900s. The Pullman strike had to do with the trains back in and the strikes with the workers. That got hectic, violent. People were burning the train cars. So Grover Cleveland, Democratic president of the time, sent the National Guard in. The people got violent towards the National Guard. 30 people got killed. And the National Guard was sent in. Another time the military was sent in, people criticized Trump for sending in Marines to protect, you know, federal buildings in LA. Well, after World War II, when they wanted to get rid of the Marine Corps, Truman sent the Marines to a prison riot at Alcatraz. There was a huge prison riot. They could not get it under control. So they sent the Marines to get it under control, and it only took 45 minutes to get that place under control. So every time the military's been sent domestically, it has been a Democrat, and now they're saying it's wrong. We shouldn't do that. It's like y'all have been the ones that do it every time, but when a Republican does it, oh, it's wrong. It shouldn't happen.
All right, so
You don't have the right to do that.
I have a list here. I don't know if it's an accurate list up to this moment, but it states that up to at least 12 United States presidents have deployed the National Guard for civil unrest.
Yeah.
Okay, so civil unrest could mean anything: riot, just major protests. It could be just protecting cities, protecting buildings, protecting property. So it could be anything really at this point. But it says at least 12 have deployed. George Washington deployed the Continental Army and the militia during the Whiskey Rebellion. So that's first and foremost a president that has deployed the military to, whether it be right or wrong, assist in policing cities.
Yeah.
John Tyler during the Dorr Rebellion, mobilized the militia from Connecticut to Massachusetts. And guess what? That was to stop an attempt to overthrow Rhode Island's governor. So that was a direct threat to the United States as a whole, because the people were fed up for some reason, whatever reason it was, of Rhode Island's governor. Abraham Lincoln deployed the National Guard, which did not yet exist. However, he did federalize state military to fight secessionist states in the Confederacy. And given that went on for 5 years. More recently, Dwight Eisenhower during the Little Rock interrogation crisis. That right there was the Little Rock Five. You know, that was whenever segregation was going on and everything else, and college campuses were trying to block uh, black students from going to school.
Yep.
John F. Kennedy had deployed the National Guard twice, knowingly in 1962 and 1963. He federalized them in Alabama and Mississippi. Again, for civil rights. Lyndon B. Johnson federalized the military 65, 67, and 68. The Montgomery March, the Detroit riot, and the assassination riots for MLK. So that right there, that alone, means that Lyndon B. Johnson had federalized 8,000 Michigan National Guard troops, on top of other military assets that were sent to Detroit. Martin Luther King's, they had to federalize in multiple cities.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon in 1970, New York postal strike, 28,000 active and reserve troops. George Sr., Daddy Bush, during the LA riots in the 90s. We all remember hearing in school about Rodney King.
Mm-hmm.
He had to federalize troops. Donald Trump. And it's funny because they talk about, oh, well, you can't federalize troops. But Joe Biden did it in 2021 on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, even though he wasn't necessarily the president, he called for the Presidential National Guard to be deployed in Washington for the inauguration. And guess what? Nobody was able to attend the inauguration.
Nope.
Because the National Guard held off the traffic so that way they could have a peaceful transition of power. So you want to tell me that a president cannot federalize troops?
Yeah. And whether, like I said, whether it is right or wrong, people cannot deny Washington, D.C. is safer. The crime rate has dropped significantly. People can actually go out and enjoy their lives. People are happier. And Chicago is a cesspool right now. And here's the kicker of it all. The governor and the mayor of Chicago, hardcore against the wall for the border, is now putting up walls around Chicago to keep the National Guard out. Because he does not want the National Guard to be in Chicago. Because he's like, oh, we don't. He's like, oh, our death rate's down. We don't have a problem. Our crime rate's down. We don't have a crime problem. The hell are you talking about? You don't have a crime problem.
The city of Chicago is one of the worst in the entire country.
It is.
I'm from Texas, and I know about Chicago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, I don't live in Philadelphia now, but I'm from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is also one of the top places, almost as bad as Chicago. The mayor is radically crazy, supporting the criminals. The DA let a multiple-time murderer back on the streets multiple times because he's like, oh, he's reformed. Every time he was released, he murdered people. And now he is actually still at large right now. They have yet to find him from the last time he's killed somebody. Philadelphia's bad. Chicago's bad. sending the National Guard in to clean these cities up is not a bad thing. Because one, it shows that people do need to care about this country. And we do need to fix the problems that we have. And this is the one way that it is actually fixing a lot of things.
Hello,
Like I said, whether it's right or wrong. So
we're about to get off this topic. Given the situation going on out there, I don't know necessarily what all is going on. I just know that they definitely need to get it figured out. But we're going to go ahead and move on from the Kirk situation in Chicago, most definitely, because that wasn't really on our agenda for tonight.
No, but it did get brought up. But, you know,
well, the military was brought up, but still.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, the next agenda was the fact being that video game prices. You know, I think it was called Cherry Bomb or something like that. The developer that developed Sing Song or Silk Song. They decided to have 3 people, from what I hear anyway, I could be wrong. They spoke on behalf of PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, and Nintendo, stating that they had record profits for a game that was developed by 3 people and only costed $20.
Pretty much, and it's actually a pretty good game.
I've seen ads for it. I've seen people playing it.
A buddy of mine has it. I played it, a little bit of it. Pretty good. For 3 people to make that game, only charge $20. That's pretty good.
But it's showing major developers like AAA games, especially speaking on, Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, all patented by Nintendo. And then you have Call of Duty, and again, Battlefield. You have, just off the top of my head, all these games. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for the last 13 years, almost, just about 13 years, and they are still charging people $45 to play their game.
Yeah. And some of the new games now, games used to be like $60. Some of these games are jumping up for the base, $80 to $100 for the base game.
So Silk Song has definitely put a damper on these AAA titles, proving that 3 people can make a difference if they put their mind to it.
Well, there's also one other person that that kind of proved this a little while ago. That one guy created this one game. I'm pretty sure you've heard of Schedule 1.
Yeah.
One guy created that game, $20, and that game had record sales for a game. And it's still an extremely popular game, and that's only $20. And one person made that game, and it's an extremely good game. So it's like you can make a quality game, and you do not have to charge you don't have to charge $80 to $100 to make a profit. If the game is good and people like it, they will buy it. You do not have, and you don't have to charge that much for a game.
And that's definitely true. I personally don't believe that a game should cost more than even a tenth of the system, because what are you really telling people? AAA titles that will sell and that you actually took time to develop, like again, Mario or Grand Theft Auto, I can see them being about $40.
Speaking of, there's Mafia. Mafia is actually a AAA title. It's a smaller AAA title, but it's a AAA title. Mafia: The Old Country. was a 40. It came when that game came out. It was $40. It's for the base game. It's like $40, and they have made so much money off of that game, and that game was so popular for what it was that they've been greenlit to make their next game. And the people at Hangar 13 said that they will keep the next game at $40 because they do not need to charge almost $100 for a game to be bought and to make a profit. They charged $40 for Mafia: The Old Country, and they made a record profit. They made more. Hangar 13 made more money with Mafia: Old Country than they've made in a long time. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with it.
yeah,
It's just outstanding the fact that these companies think that they can price gouge,
yeah.
especially whenever most of these games aren't even physical titles anymore.
No, and
So
that's
you're
the
not
other
even
thing
getting
about
the
that.
physical item.
Well, also, if you when you buy something digital, you don't own it; you're renting it.
And I guess,
Ubisoft already said that, and Ubisoft is in some shit right now because they've stated and shut down some of their older games. You can no longer play those games, and they said that if you own the physical copy of those games, you need to destroy it. That you're not allowed to play it because you don't own your games.
oh, so if I pay you $60 and I own a game,
Yeah,
then
they want you to destroy it if they tell you to. And that's why Ubisoft is in some shit right now. It's like, nah. Like, for example, like, if they ever told people, hey, you need to destroy your Assassin's Creed games, that they're not going to do that. Assassin's Creed is their most popular game. If they were to say, hey, you need to destroy your game with your favorite character, Ezio Auditore, you need to destroy that game, you're not allowed to play it anymore, like, people aren't going to do it. Because they did that with the Crew. They shut down the services for the Crew, like the original Crew. And they said if you have a physical copy, you need to destroy it.
so if I have a game that I paid for,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to destroy it, apparently. Well,
Yes,
you now
according to
know
you.
that digital gaming is uh,
Well,
pretty much a even run of dictatorship, really.
yeah. Well, now, because of this and the pushback that gamers did, they legally have to say when you purchase these digital games that you are only buying the license to play the game. You are not buying you are not buying ownership. You are only buying the license to play it. So technically speaking, you're renting it. If you buy a game physically, or if you buy a game digitally, you're just renting. You're not owning.
I mean, if you really want to take it to that point, then what is the stop piracy?
That's the problem. They're not. Now
Well, my thing
people
is you can't pirate something that you don't that nobody owns.
exactly,
If you
but
buy something and let's say you buy again Super Mario
yeah,
digitally. If
hmm
Nintendo decides to say, okay, well, we're taking it away,
yeah,
that license is connected to that account. You gave them money for a product, so
hmm
therefore they're pirating you.
yeah, pretty much.
And that's not, I'm not saying Nintendo will. I'm just
No,
saying that that's just a influx of a hypothetical. A company and a customer have to have a willing mutual agreement to trade. And
hmm
without that agreement of trade, that's theft.
yeah,
So you're telling me people can go to jail for piracy, but yet Nintendo can revoke the right to your game at any time
yeah.
that you gave them
Well,
money for.
Well, Nintendo has pretty much become a real scummy company over the years because I'm pretty. I'm assume you've heard of Power World.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo tried suing them.
Yeah, I read
Obviously,
something about that. They failed.
well, yeah, they failed. And guess what? Nintendo decided to do.
They're currently attempting to sue for patent for anything that spawns monsters.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
well, now Nintendo is now creating something that they're now copying Power World. Which technically, if that's the case, Power World should be able to sue them because they're now copying Power World.
We'll
So
say here's the point is so apparently the patent was in and we'll get more information about it later. But the
yeah,
patent stated that apparently Nintendo was suing for the right of having anything to do with spawning monsters, okay, which I get it. The Pokeball
which they weren't even
spawns
the first.
monsters,
They weren't even the first to do that.
but I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, Nikola Tesla managed to give the free world electricity, and they managed to patent that against him. He
Well,
died. He died a poor man because people patented under him.
well, they patented it, but the way that they patented it, which if we would have done it the way Tesla had, we'd have free power.
Yeah, Tesla wanted free
So,
power,
hmm
but at the end of the day, Nintendo trying to patent anything that spawns monsters. In technicality, Kingdom Hearts from the mouse,
hmm
that's going to be a critical problem.
I'm not gonna lie. I have my problems with Disney, but I would love to see that fight.
Nintendo versus Disney.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
On
You
top of
got
that,
the plumber versus the mouse. That'd be hilarious.
on top of that though, you have, I mean, Bakugan, you have Yu-Gi-Oh, you
Yeah.
have Magic the Gathering, you have
hmm
Digimon. I
Yeah.
mean, Digimon's been out since the early 2000s, but still,
Right.
I mean,
Like,
they still have an owner, and that owner holds those rights to that company, and that's how that lore is for that world.
hmm I don't think they should be able to patent of that, considering how many people do it, and they were not the first to do it.
Even Beyblade.
Yeah.
Beyblade spawns monsters
hmm
from an object, so Nintendo has an uphill battle right now.
Oh,
And
they
I
can.
hate to tell you, but they can definitely be sued out of existence by all these pre-existing companies.
Oh, they can be.
I
They
don't know.
100% can be.
I don't know if it's money. I don't know if it's issues with technology or free use of or critical or creative thinking. But Nintendo is facing a major problem.
Yeah. A lot of game develop, a lot of these AAA companies are, with the way they're treating gamers, they really are facing a problem because gamers will just go to indie games because a lot of these indie games are getting better. If it like if these AAA titles keep going the way they are, a lot of these AAA title companies will not be around if it keeps going this way.
And the mouse won't play.
No, the mouse does not. The mouse don't play. Like I said, I have my issues with the mouse, but the mouse don't play around when it comes to its property.
Whether or not we agree or disagree, this is most definitely an overreach of consumer or patent rights
It is.
from Nintendo. And
hmm
even the mouse can attest to the fact that they've overreached as well at times, and they have lost credibly.
they tried to overreach recently when they lost their patent for Steamboat Willie,
See?
because when people started using the original, um pretty much the black and white Mickey Mouse is what's in public domain now. They were trying to sue people for that, but it's like once it's in public domain, you can't sue. There's actually a couple other things from Disney that are about to go into public domain and that they're going to be pissed about losing, but unfortunately the patent is running out and they can't repatent it. So
So at that point, it just comes down to consumer versus producer and creativity. These patents are going to create a hostile issue for creativity.
they already technically are, because the creator of Schedule 1 is being sued for making a game about drugs. The amount of people, like, there's millions of games about making drugs, which I don't condone, but there's millions of games about it. Because he made a game that's more popular than another game, he's being sued for it because one, it's more popular, it's better, so he's being sued.
And people got jealous.
Yeah, which, mind you, he's winning that lawsuit, and rightfully so.
And it's a sad situation altogether, but at the end of the day, I don't know.
You know, at the end of the day, pretty much the old saying, "The customer is always right." Well, it's technically that's not always the case, but with this case, yes, the customer is correct. Your consumer is who you want to listen to. The prime example of this in the video games is the Saints Row reboot. Volition, they had a game in mind that would have been the best game in the franchise if they would have gotten the right to do it. It would have made the Volition billions, but their parent company decided, oh, we're gonna push this narrative, and I'm not gonna get into the narrative. If people played the game, you know the narrative they pushed. The game flopped. It did shit because the parent company refused to listen to the consumers that play the game. And when you refuse to listen to your consumers, you fail.
Most definitely. People
And
tend to forget that the consumer is the one that gives you your money.
yep. And unfortunately, due to the fact that the parent company of Volition forced them to make that game, Volition paid the price. They shut down Volition. So, and it's very
And
unfortunate.
Nintendo is going to face that penalty very
Mm-hmm.
quickly, with the fact being that not only are they having issues with their games, all companies are, because they
Yeah.
want to sit there and charge out a max for their games, which
Mm-hmm.
may or may not be right. But
Right. Now, go ahead.
um, Nintendo is also attempting to block users from accessing their Nintendo Switch 2, which I have most definitely boycotted Nintendo due
Mhm.
to the rumor that if you speak out against Nintendo or they feel you are, quote, going out against them or going and speaking out against the industry, they'll brick your system. You apparently only buy a license to use their system.
Yeah.
So I spend $500 on your new Nintendo Switch, and
Yeah. And
you're
if I don't
gonna,
like something, they'll brick it.
yeah, you don't like what I have to say, so you're gonna brick my system.
Yeah. No.
I'm not gonna give my money to you,
Mm-mm.
and that's what I fear for quite a few
Well.
technological systems nowadays. Because even vehicles, have those new implicated computers that the car can
Speaking of
drive
that,
themselves.
oh, they can, and also the military has technology they can hack your vehicle and can take control of your vehicle, which is another reason I do not drive modern vehicles. So I do not need my vehicle to be hacked while I'm driving,
I don't
and
either.
I also don't think I should have to click a button that says, "Oh, you need to promise to drive safely to drive your vehicle." Well, because if the screen goes out and you have to hit that button, you're shit out of luck. You can't drive if your screen goes.
Not to mention the fact that, guess what? Now you have to go pay the company $10,000 to repair the screen.
Mm-hmm. Like, nah, I'm good. I'll keep driving a 20 to 30 year old vehicle.
So it just comes down to the point that companies are going to learn.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them are. A lot of them are learning.
And going back to Silk Song, 3 developers managed to outmatch and crash 4 different servers
They
for
crashed.
four
They
different
crashed.
systems.
They crashed PlayStation, Microsoft. Um, they crashed Epic Games, and they crashed Steam. They crashed all of them.
So yeah, it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Mm-mm.
You got 400 different developers on these AAA titles, and yeah, they're wonderful graphics, amazing stories. I've heard
Sometimes
some, I've heard some beautiful things coming
yeah,
from these companies, and I've seen some amazing, beautiful things coming from these companies. Some of the
yeah,
greatest. But
but
at the
the
end of the day,
graphics aren't everything.
your loyalty to the customer matters more than any level of graphics.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I would rather if somebody makes a game that's quality, I would rather have a game, an open world game that has the graphics of Schedule One. As long as it is a decent game, good story, good gameplay, I would rather have those graphics than and pay $20 for the game instead of having this game that looks so photorealistic of people to where it's like, oh yeah, you got to pay $100 for the game and you don't own it. So
And just that's just
because
awful.
because like technically we play 5 and we have Grand Theft Auto on Steam. Technically speaking, we do not own that copy of that game.
Yeah, Steam owns it.
Yeah, if Steam wanted to pull it, we'd lose it. So
But Steam knows that is not a good idea.
oh yeah, well yeah, Steam's not stupid. Which technically Steam, oh, they did remove a couple of games that were technically adults because Visa and a lot of these credit card companies were telling them to because they didn't want to. That was a whole weird situation. Well, that got shut down real quick because your credit card company can't dictate what you buy. It's your money. What you purchase with your money is on you. You
And
have the right to buy whatever you want.
that gets into a whole nother level of messed up because there is instances where people are scared to death of going to a full digital currency because current or nothing will be private anymore. There is no
No.
private ownership. Companies
Uh-huh.
can, the credit card company can view everything you purchase with that card.
Yeah,
So where is the privacy in situations like that?
exactly.
It is not the business of the government nor is it the business of the card company to be able to tell where you buy something or what you bought.
Yeah, 100%.
Because again, that goes against the Fourth Amendment.
People should have privacy.
Yeah, Fuzzy,
It's like
cash is king.
eh, he's not wrong. He's.
But I mean, sadly, nowadays, you can't really do anything without a card, whether it be debit or
Not,
credit.
unfortunately, I need those to pay my bills, and that is all I use it for. Everything else I pay in cash. If I go to a store and they say, "Oh, we're card only," all right, I'll shop somewhere else.
And I know stores like that. I mean, it's a sad thing.
Hmm.
Um, this country used to be a country of not only better morals, but also more privacy.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have
Because
that anymore.
at any point in time, the bank company can flag your transaction and send it to the government, and now the government can view everything that you've bought.
I've had that happen because literally, when I purchased my 1911, my bank flagged it because it was a gun store purchase and it showed up, um, Addison's gun shop. Well, it got flagged, and I got talked to about it. It's like, one, it's not illegal to buy a firearm. It's not illegal. It is the Second Amendment. I am allowed to do that. And just because the bank flagged it, yeah, the government can see everything you ever purchased. So we have no privacy if you buy something with digital currency.
And that's what people are afraid of. And it's
Hmm.
not necessarily Republicans or Democrats specific.
No,
You
that's on
have
both
people
sides.
on every level of the spectrum that are afraid
Yep.
for their life because they have personal things that they do not want banks or the government to dictate what they can or cannot buy.
Yep. And
And
that's
with
why
a full
I'm against.
digital currency, you cannot do that.
No, because then credit card companies and the bank will dictate what you're allowed to purchase. And if they don't like it, they can cancel that purchase. So, and it's unfortunate that that is happening.
And it's a
So,
serious situation nonetheless because it also creates a cybersecurity issue.
it does. It's like it should and it shouldn't, but it is.
At the end of the day, though, the dollar bill reigns.
Yeah. Like Fuzzy said, cash is king, and cash will always be king. Whether people like it or not. They can try to get rid of it, but I do feel like people would not allow it to happen because you need to have physical currency. So, because at that point, if I feel like if the government decided, we're just going to push, you have to use digital currency to buy shit. It's like, okay, people will just go back to trading. People will always find a way around it. So, it's like if you got rid of, let's just say, you got rid of guns, people are always going to find a way to defend themselves. They'll just do what the UK does. They'll use knives. People always find a way around something. So we live in a crazy time. So Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any other topics you had?
Well, we had a specific topic, but it throws itself back to the Charlie Kirk incident.
All right.
The only problem with this topic, though,
Mhm.
is whether or not it was intentional.
Right.
Um, Granted, I'm going to pull up my own live feed here from X, or previously known to be Twitter. So, we have some information, and I hope this information comes.
Today is the first back to the school.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Mm.
I really hope that this information is not what is to be believed by me and other people. And I don't believe anybody ever mentioned seeing it. I might be the only person that's addressed it. But here, on my, I don't know if you're viewing my live stream.
Sorry. Yeah, I got it.
It states around 12:23 p.m. Mountain Time, which is Utah, or 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time. Kirk was shot during a campus event, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, everybody's on at that point. Everybody understands that. The problem is this next slide.
Okay.
At approximately 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time in Washington on Capitol Hill, there was a motion on the table by Chuck Schumer, the minority leader. And you can look this up yourself. This is all pulled up by me. I went to congress.gov and pulled up this information for myself. These are all screenshots from my device. September 10th, 2025 at 5:20 p.m., merely hours after Charlie was shot and murdered in cold blood, the Senate voted to refuse to direct the Attorney General to make publicly available the document related to Jeffrey Epstein. Granted, I do not know if this was intentional by the government. However, it definitely does raise concerns.
Yeah.
Because you have, at 2:23 p.m. Eastern, the shot rang out. Or around that time. That leaves a 2-hour gap, or 2 hours and 58 minutes, between the shot and the minority leader placing on the table the bill to make Jeffrey Epstein's files publicly available. Right?
Yeah.
The motion statement come from Chuck Schumer. The Senate voted 51-49 to set aside the amendment. So while the entire world is mourning Charlie Kirk, the United States government voted to set aside the outcome of the Jeffrey Epstein release file. It's a sad situation, and I hope and I pray that Charlie Kirk did not die in vain due to the situation of the United States government. And this is not to raise any alarms. This is all publicly available. Like I said, this is screenshotted by me. But this situation is definitely uncalled for. 51 people voted to table and kill the bill related to the Jeffrey Epstein released files. Of those 51 people, a large majority were Republican.
I feel like somebody in the Pentagon needs to release the files anyway. Just leak them somewhere.
The Republicans went on to defend their vote as a procedure maneuver, arguing that Schumer's move was a political stunt and that the defense bill was not the appropriate place for the amendment. The Democrats argued that the vote was necessary to ensure transparency. Regardless of the situation, I believe myself, this is just me, I believe that it was indicted of the United States government to attempt to give a reason. I personally believe the votes should have persuaded a release.
Yeah. I agree with your the latest guy. I hope they're not connected, and the files definitely should be released. People do have the right to know, and the victims do have the right to have their closure.
And it wasn't me that found this. This was actually another individual I came across on my For You page that ended up making this known. I went in and investigated myself and found out, not only through Google, but from the United States government.gov, that this situation did happen. I don't know if it's related to Charlie Kirk. I don't know if it's related to the school shooting. I don't even know if it was meant to just be a coincidence. But you're telling me, merely hours after Kirk flooded the internet with his casualty, that the United States government just happened to vote on one of the most crucial files in modern government.
Yeah.
And I really hope that I don't get any setback against me on this, because I do not wish any harm. I do not wish any grievance, and I do not wish any issues with anybody involved with this situation. But this is outright disturbing, whether it be coincidental or not.
I personally think it's coincidental, but it is definitely odd that it happened the same day the vote happened. But I do feel that it's probably very coincidental.
Those files should be released. I hope it's not linked with the Charlie. I hope not either. I really do pray that they are completely opposite and rather coincidental. But for the media to be focused directly on Mr. Kirk and a public execution.
It's not, oddly, this is not the first time this has happened.
No, PSYOPs happens every day.
Yeah. It's just like, the timing is definitely odd. But the only reason I say it's more of a coincidence is obviously Charlie's events are planned ahead of time when he went to these colleges. They were planned ahead of time, and I know Congress plans their stuff ahead of time. So it's like I definitely would say it's more coincidental. But
Well, the issue that I find
mhm,
is specifically their argument in the procedure maneuver.
yeah,
Because it states right here the defense bill was not the appropriate place for the amendment. So that makes me wonder if it wasn't brought up at moment's notice.
right. I mean, it very much could have been 100% brought up. It's a weird situation with that.
But nonetheless, whether it was appropriate or not, this vote should not exist.
Shouldn't even be voting on the release. You should just release them. Like that, you shouldn't even have to vote on that. It's like I don't know. Like it seems that a lot of people on both sides want to hide the Epstein files because they don't want to be outed.
For whatever
And
reason.
well, we all know what Epstein did and what he was a part of, and for reasons I'm not going to bring that up on the podcast, but anybody who knows the Epstein files, you know what's in those, like you know what that's about. And some of these people, they do not want to be outed because if they are outed, then people are going to want them. And this is not to condone violence, but this is this is brought up every time that stuff is brought up. They don't want to be recommended to be substituted for a branch to be put into a wood chipper. They don't want that. So it seems like that's why they're voting on this, and they really shouldn't be voting on it because the victims of Epstein and the people have the right to know
Well, if you're
who
being
visited.
kidnapped by a crazy old man
Mhm.
and brought to
Yeah,
an island where nobody knows where you are,
yeah,
you no
and so,
matter what's going on, you should have the
so
right to be heard.
yeah, some of these people. It's not even that they were kidnapped. Some of these people were lied to because some of these victims. I watched a few of them. These victims talking, and they wanted to be actors and act. They wanted to be actresses, and they were lied to and told, well, if you want to be that, you got to do this. And, they were they were forced into it. So,
So I really
and
hope that that had nothing to do with it.
I do too. I hope not. I hope they didn't just kill an innocent man that was trying to make a difference just to hide the fact that to hide that fact. But I don't. I personally, I feel like it's just coincidence, and I'm a hope to God it is. But regardless, both things that happened are horrible things.
But at the end of the day, you could look it up yourself. I did my
Yeah.
research,
Yep.
and that situation specifically uh, pinged my conspiracy that there is a situation going on that goes deeper than just Charlie Kirk. And like
Oh,
I said, I 100% have full remorse and empathy for his family. And it is a very bad thing that happened to him. But
yeah.
it's rather odd that it comes up randomly in a situation in the Senate right after
Mhm.
the news is flooded with information on Charlie.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's a sad situation.
Hmm.
And I really hope that is coincidental.
Yeah, I hope so. Because uh, it's it's one of those things.
Nonetheless, I do feel bad about the entire situation, nonetheless, with Charlie. Nobody should have to go through that type of penalty for exercising their constitutional right.
Hmm.
And it is a pretty gruesome matter, the fact that it happened publicly.
Yeah.
Or that it happened at all.
Yep. But it's weird. There's all. It's weird that every single time that someone has been assassinated, there's been something else going on the same day that seems like they were trying to hide something. So it's a whole weird thing. It's a whole odd situation. But regardless of that, definitely the condolences are still with Charlie's family and all of his followers. So
Nonetheless, at this time, I have nothing else for the podcast.
mm-mm.
Do you have any final words?
I do not, but other than just keep the fighting civil. Like just fight with your words. Keep it peaceful.
That's fair.
Yep. That's the only outing words I have right now.
With that being said, we are at an hour and 46 minutes. I'm pretty sure 46 minutes is of you talking to yourself because of my audio cutting out.
Probably. So people just think I'm a crazy foil hat guy talking to myself.
You're talking to somebody that is on the screen but has no voice.
Yep. Hey, well, maybe one of these days I'll have a video camera, and I'll put on the video camera. So
That'll be the day.
yeah, well, I have one ordered, so we'll see.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for today's episode. That was Osmodius Fox, and I am Bryson Kilcrease. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bryson Kilcrease out.